I grew up as big of a Michigan fan as you could possibly imagine. Saturdays, we didn't have any other option than watching football on the couch. You know, wasn't allowed to wear red and gray together, wasn't allowed to wear green at all. I mean, like, it was from birth, it was just instilled in me. And so the dream of playing basketball here was always in the front of my mind.
I was just scrolling on my For You page one day and I saw this series from this kid on the basketball team talking about day one of the road to becoming a national champion. And it was actually your page, and the episodes are great. What made you want to start the social media page and do this whole episode series? What's up, guys? Angel here. You're watching A2 on Chant Media. We have a very special guest today, University of Michigan men's basketball player, Harrison Hochberg. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Angel.
All right, so I kind of just want to get into it. We've gotten to talk about so many exciting things before, obviously getting the cameras rolling. But you're a junior here, but your age is older. You had an amazing story about wanting to get into Michigan in the first place. You're actually a preferred walk-on, which is different from being a walk-on and different from being recruited a little bit.
Yeah.
So can you just talk to me about your Michigan story and what kind of led you to wanting to play here?
Yeah, so I grew up as big of a Michigan fan as you could possibly imagine. Saturdays, we didn't have any other option than watching football on the couch. You know, wasn't allowed to wear red and gray together, wasn't allowed to wear green at all. I mean, like, it was from birth, it was just instilled in me. And so the dream of playing basketball here was always in the front of my mind.
Okay.
That was always something that I thought of. I had the opportunity my sophomore year to go to a very prestigious basketball and academic school, Suffield Academy. You know, great opportunity. I was on the varsity team my sophomore year, but I certainly was the worst player on the team. I didn't score a single point that entire season. And it was rough, and it forced me to look in the mirror a little bit and kind of reflect. COVID happened at the end of my sophomore year, and my grades were okay. Could have been better, should have been better. And my coach, kind of had a conversation with me of, hey, I think you should focus a little less on basketball, a little more on academics. And I didn't really respond too openly to that. And he, shot back and was like, well, what's your dream? And I said, Coach, I want to play for the University of Michigan.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and was like, it's not going to happen. Sorry to say. And he said, I don't even know if you're going to play Division III ball.
Wow.
And I really had to take a step back at that point. I was really at a fork in the road. Could have gone any of two ways, just completely given up, or what I did was just completely work my tail off every hour of the day, waking up in the morning in the summer, going to sleep early. Workouts consumed me. And I came back my junior fall. Again, COVID was happening, so we weren't going to have a season that year. And my coach looked at me, he was like, wow, you're getting better. Maybe we could get some D3s on board. And I was like, said, Coach, I want to play for Michigan. Harrison, that's not going to happen. School gets shut down in the winter because COVID got worse again. Came back for the spring trimester and got a lot better again. Worked my tail off all winter. And my coach looked at me, he was like, let's get some film, let's send it around, see what responses we could get. And basically feedback came back that Division III schools were all over me, all the high academic, NESCAC D3 schools. And my coach was like, this is great. I was like, Coach, want to play for Michigan. Harrison, that's not going to happen. Another summer working my, absolute ass off, nonstop. My dad jokes all the time. He's like, I always looked out the window and Harrison was shooting on the basketball hoop in the backyard. Came back in the fall, and my senior year was going to be the first season I played since COVID. And I started to get some Division I interest, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And my coach was kind of pushing me a little bit towards the D3 thing. Some Ivies were recruiting me, which was unbelievable. But I was so laser focused on Michigan, and once again was told it wasn't going to happen. I decided to take a post grad year to follow up my senior year, just to give myself another year to chase that opportunity. I had it, and going back, I had a great senior year that year. I led the team in scoring, rebounds. I was I got the team MVP award, whatever it was. I was all league. And my coach gave a speech on senior night. He was like, I've never seen a kid improve like this.
Yeah.
And, it was great to hear, but I wasn't where I wanted to go. And so I decided to go to post-grad year at a prep school called Cushing Academy.
Okay.
And one of the main reasons I chose Cushing was because my coach the guy who was going to be my coach looked at me on my visit and said, what's your dream? What do you want to do? And I was like, I want to play at Michigan. And he looked at me and he was like, I think I can make that happen.
Wow.
And was the first person to ever say that to me. And so I was like, yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in.
Yeah.
And, he connected me with my former coaches, Coach Phil Martelli and Juwan Howard, who, had an unbelievable impact on my life. And basically that started the recruitment process.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
And so this Michigan, like this love for Michigan, I know you said there's a bit of like a family generational thing with being a Wolverine. Can you talk to me a little bit about the people who kind of not pushed you to be a Michigan fan, but kind of influenced you?
Yeah.
Your love for Michigan.
Yeah. So the main one was my grandfather, Ira, who passed away during my senior year. And he had the biggest impact on my life that a grandfather could have had. He was more like a real parent, which I think, kind of pissed my parents off at times that he was so involved, but I always loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had the opportunity to come to Michigan. He grew up, didn't have a lot growing up in the Bronx in New York, and got a scholarship, or not full scholarship, but enough financial aid to be able to go to school from both Indiana and Michigan. He didn't have the money to go visit either school, and he pretty much just said, I don't know what a Hoosier is, so I'm going to go be a Wolverine. What's a Hoosier? So, that's how he made the decision. And ever since then, he, felt that Michigan was a big part of his success in life and giving him an opportunity. So, I was always taught that, Michigan's the greatest thing on earth. And, I always felt that it was the most important thing in life was Saturday, game day versus Ohio State, Michigan State, Northwestern, whoever we were playing. It was the most important thing that week.
Yeah.
And I remember asking my grandfather one time, I was like, I called him Ira. I said, are you going to be upset with me if I don't go to Michigan? I was 6 years old at the time. And he looked at me and he said, I'm going to love you no matter what you do. Wherever you want to go to school, but you're not going to Ohio State. They're not getting anything from our family ever. And I was like, okay, all right, that'll work.
Harrison told me earlier, he actually said there's no way you're going home.
And I was 6 years old, and that was the first time I heard the F word in my life.
I love that. And I kind of just want to talk a little bit more about just the basketball route. Was there family that played basketball that influenced you, or was this a love you just developed? I mean, you're 6'7", the height played up. I had to. I'm so sorry. Cringy, but I had to. It's gonna happen at some point.
Oh my God.
But just being that height in general, I mean, it's a pretty tall height. I mean, I'm sure it's very different being in the basketball world. You're like, no, have you seen these guys? They're like 7 foot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But 6'7" is a very tall height. Was it kind of like, okay, I'm the height, I have the right. What influenced it?
First of all, I'm done telling people my height in public because like I just can't deal with it anymore.
I'm sorry.
But I grew up in a predominantly around Jewish kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Jewish on the Upper East Side of New York City.
Yeah,
I am the tallest one of my friends, head and shoulder, without like it's not
even close.
So I'm like a giant to them, but then I'm playing on a team with a Di Mara, and I'm like, yeah, no, I got you, like, and it's unbelievable. So I'm lucky I'm this tall, but my dad really was the one that influenced my love for basketball.
Okay, gotcha.
He played for Vassar College, which was a Division III school. He was 1,000-point scorer there. He's in a bunch of record books. And ever since I was young, he always just, kind of put this love of basketball on me, and I was very receptive to it as long as I can remember.
I absolutely love that. What a great story too. When I think like a Michigan man, like you're the exact emblem of what I think of. You know what I mean? So I think that's so
Appreciate that.
special. And I know you guys may not know this, but you've redshirted this year, and throughout your years to come, I just wish you so much success.
Thank you.
Success. Like I just know you're gonna be great. But
Thank you.
aside from men's basketball, I actually want to talk about your social media, which is how I became acquainted with you. I was just scrolling on my For You page one day, and I saw this series from this kid on the basketball team talking about day one of the road to becoming a national champion. And it was actually your page, and the episodes are great. There's other viral videos that I've seen from your page. You're killing it on social media. What started you? What made you want to start the social media page and do this whole episode series?
Yeah, so it started last season. It was something I was doing for fun. And basically, so Michigan State last year won the Big Ten regular season championship. And they did a, TikTok trend dance, whatever, with the trophy. And, maybe 10 days later, we won the Big Ten tournament championship, which I believe is the more important one, but
Absolutely.
I'm, might be a little biased.
Maybe.
So before the game, I kind of said to my teammates, I was like, we're winning this game, and then we're doing this damn TikTok trend. And so we did it. And I think the video might have like 500,000 views. I haven't checked, but it blew up.
Yeah.
And there's 3,000 comments on it. And I maybe only read like 50 of them, because every single one of them is just Michigan State fans just completely rage baited. And so that was the first one to really blow up. And actually, my TikTok account was hacked like maybe 10 days later.
Yeah.
And I woke up one morning, opened my phone, and it said, "Oh, you've been logged out. There's activity in Montana." And I was like, I've never been in Montana in my life. Some Ohio State fan living in Montana. Like, I don't know what I did wrong, but whatever. And so yeah, I was inactive for like 5 months, and then I kept trying to get my account back, and I kind of gave up maybe around May. And mid-July, I was like, I'm going to try one more time. And, I was able to reset my password. I don't know how that happened or what. And so lucky I got my account back. And I was like, I'm going to do something fun to, because I enjoy rage baiting people.
Oh, God.
Might not be the best quality. If it's Michigan State, Ohio State fans, I really enjoy it.
That's fair enough.
So I was like, we're going to have a good team this year. I think we're going to win a national championship. So I started something called Road to the National Championship. And, there's some rage baited comments on there, but it's all for fun. The guys on the team have had fun doing it. We joke around, oh, this is going to be the next episode of Road to a National Championship. And yeah, I mean, it's just a little side thing that I've been doing.
I love it. That's so fun. What's the next episode we can expect to see?
I don't know. No,
don't say that.
Yeah. I got to think. I'm not great at coming up with content ideas. They kind of just come to me naturally.
Okay.
One thing that I want to do that we'll 100% do at one point is like passing the phone to. So I could say I'm passing the phone to someone who, dunked on whoever last game, and then I'd give the phone to whoever did that.
That's awesome.
Like just fun content ideas that, I think the fans growing up, huge Michigan fan that I would have loved to see when I was younger.
Absolutely.
I guess you could call it my way of giving back.
Yeah, literally. I mean, you were that kid who was like looking for that. You wanted to see that, and now you're the person that kids are looking at. So that's so cool.
Which is crazy to think about.
I know, like your younger self would probably be like freaking out. Right?
Over the moon. I ground myself every day when I walk in the locker room and I see, it says Harrison Hochberg, number 13. I'm like, I get my jersey before a game. I'm like, wow, this is something. And I never take it for granted.
Absolutely not. And actually, number 13, was that always a number you wanted? Is there another number you...
Yeah, so that also goes back to my grandfather. He was born on April 13th. And ever since then, he just looked at it as his lucky number. So not only was the Michigan thing passed down to me, but the number 13 was too.
There you go.
Every sports team I've ever played on, if the number 13 was available...
You're taking it.
I was the one that wore it. My freshman year, Olivier Combois, was he was a great big brother to me that year, but he did take number 13 for me, and I had to wear 31, which was what I always went to if 13 wasn't available.
Flip it.
I had to flip it. But yeah, that's another thing that, was passed down to me.
Yeah, I love that. There's just so many different things, but so meaningful. I'm the same way too. Like a lot of different things that, my family's passed down to me. Like I'm such like a numbers person, like the number 16, 777, like all those types of things. So I think that's the
Yes. Some people think it's unlucky, but it's brought me plenty of luck in my life.
Are you superstitious?
I am a little bit superstitious actually, which is interesting now that I think about it.
Yeah,
But,
Are you like a left shoe on first before a game type of person, or?
I not that superstitious now that I think about it. I always try to, take 5 minutes to myself and do a little meditation and before every game.
Absolutely.
I find brings luck. Maybe not as superstitious as other people, but I do find myself a little.
Okay, I love that.
I catch myself sometimes.
Yeah. I love that. Silas Swords, she's a left shoe on first.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually saw
Some people are like, I need to brush my teeth before going out for one. So I'm like, okay, that's a little.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
need
little
to turn the
much.
lights on and off 3 times. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually want to go back a little bit with the social media and the road to national championship. I've seen some of your videos, and I just love the camaraderie of the team. But something set aside from you guys being athletes is you guys being students here at the University of Michigan, and it's a hard school, both academically and athletically. So I actually want to talk a little bit more about going to school with your teammates.
Yeah.
Is it hard? Is it fun? I saw you guys have classes together. So, I mean, it's just like 4 of you guys in the back of a class in a lecture. Are you passing notes? Are you making jokes? Like, talk to me. I want to know what it's like being a student athlete and going to class with your teammates.
It's depends on the class. We'll say that. Some classes you need to really be locked in, and those at times I've sat away from my teammates. But it's always good. Like any time I get to spend with my teammates, like we're always doing something. We're always cracking jokes, like we'll be literally sitting next to each other in a class, and whoever's sitting to my right will send me a DM reel on Instagram of something funny, and like I got to try not to laugh out loud. Like, but no, I mean, I love my teammates. Like they're the best. They've become brothers to me. And so, being able to go to class with them is always, always, always going to be an experience.
I love that. I actually want to talk a little bit more as well about just some things you guys have done as teammates. And I saw your Secret Santa post.
Yeah.
Who got the best Secret Santa gift that?
Okay. So something that Yak started on the team was King Roddy. I don't know where that came from.
Okay.
But I think it was Namari was Roddy's Secret Santa and got him a king robe and a crown.
No.
And we were all like, I thought that was a pretty good Secret Santa gift.
Yeah, that's cool.
Some of the other ones, were clothes and whatnot, but that was pretty unique to me. I know Malik got Will some fishing stuff, which is very unique to him, if you know Will.
Yeah, he does like the ice fishing stuff.
Oh my God.
Big Minnesota guy. Maybe he's the one who hacked you.
Yeah, it might be.
No, I'm kidding.
Like it'll be like 12 degrees out and we have an off day. And I wake up, I sleep in on off days, wake up 10 o'clock in the morning and go downstairs and no one's there. And then, I'm like, where the hell's Will? Check his location. He is 3 hours north at some ice fishing thing. I'm like, it is so cold out.
It's crazy.
The last thing I want to do is sit on the ice all day.
Yeah.
And fish. I love fishing. He's gotten me really into it this summer, but it was 75 and sunny those days.
Very different experience. I love that. And then talk to me a little bit more about the living situation with guys on your team.
Yeah.
Is it hard? Do you feel like it helps?
Yeah.
Being on a team with people and living with them as well? Would you ever live by yourself? Talk to me about it.
I'm not the kind of person that'll live by myself.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of the guys get 1-bedroom apartments in the same apartment building.
Yeah.
I would be able to do that, but I'm in a house right now with 3 other guys. We've had the house for 2 years now. This year it's myself, Will Cheddar, Oscar Goodman, Charlie May.
Love.
Last year it was myself, Will Cheddar, Ian Burns, and first half Danny Wolf, then Oscar moved in.
Okay, gotcha.
And we were cooking dinners. It's great. Like I said, I love my teammates. We've had a lot of turnover of different guys coming in and out every year, and every year I feel like we have an even better group of guys. And I always say to people, Dusty recruits good basketball players who are great people.
Yeah.
And that's why it works off the court, and I think that's even more why it works on the court, to tell you the truth. Like, we just love each other. It's a great group of guys, and you could see it with how we play.
I was gonna say that there's I mean, I've been at this school for a while now, so I've seen some things in my day, and just the closeness and the camaraderie of the basketball team.
Yeah.
I feel like in the past it's been good, but specifically this year, like the guys are actually like really close knit. And going into that a little bit more, who better to talk to you than you? You've been here for a good amount of years. You've seen so many staffing changes. You've seen so many teammate changes, coaching changes. Talk to me a little bit more about how the switchover was for you as a player and what you love so much about this team now.
Yeah, so my freshman year, I had the privilege to play for Juwan and his staff, and
which is so cool. Fab Five, you literally
set God, I
look up to.
Grew up idolizing Juwan. The Fab Five ESPN documentary was always on loop, and so I look at that as nothing short of an incredible privilege. I learned so many things from him. I mean, look at who else was on it. Like Phil Martelli's a legend. And, I've learned life lessons from them that I'm going to use forever. And I feel really lucky that I'm still close with a lot of my old coaches and teammates for that matter.
Yeah.
And, when the turnover happened, we had pretty much a completely new team and, new coaching staff too. And I didn't really know how to respond to it. I remember sitting down with Jace Howard, going into my sophomore year. It was going to be his 5th year. The night before our first practice, we went to go work out together. And in the locker room after, we were like, God, we really loved those guys last year. And it was like, you know what? Maybe we won't like these guys as much, but we're going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
So, that's a fair trade-off. And, I just loved my teammates last year. I mean, it was, I look at them as some of my closest friends in the world. And this year is the same thing. I was like, God, I really love those guys, but man, we have a good team. And now it's like, we're as close as ever.
Yeah. It's so interesting too, because you can fall into that, like, almost that fear of, you're getting guys who are like really great players coming in off rip. So it's like, are we going to get cocky guys? Are we going to get, what I mean? Like there's so many different factors that can play into it. And it shows on the court. Like the selfishness is genuinely not there. You get guys like Namari Burnett, who's a playmaker, who amazing shooter last year, letting guys kind of have a little bit more of their chance and then going off and shooting 31 for a career high. And then you guys are, the loudest on the, I've never seen anyone louder than you. You know what I mean? On the sideline redshirt, and everybody's like, where's Harrison?
I've perfected my in-game celebrations.
Let's go.
I love being a part of this team. It's like, there's not a single team in the country that has more firepower than us as far as the individual player talent. But we just love sharing the ball. We're like, no, we want you to shoot. We want, like you shoot. I don't want to shoot it. And it's just a love of being each other's teammates. Our best attribute is our passing. Yeah. And our unselfishness. We don't know who our best player is going to be any night. Like,
so true.
Like Namari, he didn't score in the Michigan State game.
No.
And then we play
Penn State,
and he has 31 points.
Yeah, like insane.
And no one was surprised because it could be his night any night. Next night it could be Yaxel's night. Next night it could be Shai. Any of these guys can have 25 points any night, and that's what makes it so hard to guard and scout. And the best part is we don't want to know. We're like, all right, we'll figure it out on the court. Like, we're just going to keep sharing the ball. Whoever has the high hand, like, we'll find you.
That's, and the coolest thing about that, too, is, like, I'm watching the Penn State game, and you have, like, all your, are they red shirts? Is Oscar a red shirt?
Oscar came in the middle of the season last year as a red shirt, but he's not red shirting anymore.
Okay, got you. So players who don't usually get to see the court as much at all right now are coming out against Penn State's starting line and just like putting buckets out.
Oh my God. Yeah. No,
so cool.
Dusty always says, if it's, the under 8 minute timeout and we're up 40 on a team, which we've been in that position a few times this year.
It's supposed to be a joke, but like it's genuinely happening.
Dusty will sub in the guys who haven't played yet, and he'll be like, let's show everyone how many good players we have in this program. That it's not just our top 9; it's all 16 of us.
Absolutely.
And they come in and we win those 8 minutes too. It's like, and the best part is that everyone knows that, the guys at the end of our bench could go to certainly mid-major schools, but also there's plenty of high major schools that they could be the best player at.
Absolutely.
And they know that, and everyone else knows that. But they'd rather be on this team winning these games and, gonna win a national championship, hopefully. Like that's the road to national championship. Like that's the kind of people that coach brought in. And, it's just kind of people we are.
Absolutely. And along with the players, like you have to give it to the families who also come out and are such support systems. I actually want to talk a little bit more about like my favorite person ever to look out for on game days. Your mother. Your mom has literally the best fits. If anybody asks me today who's like the best dressed wag, I will say no one. It's literally Harris's mother. Like you need to send me a picture so we can insert it. But the bling, like she comes dripped out.
Oh yeah.
I just want to talk a little bit more about just having a support system like that, like coming to games.
Yeah. So, I mean, my mom went to Michigan too. Pretty much everyone in my family went to Michigan at this point. I have my brother's here, my younger cousin's here. I have a cousin that's going to graduate high school in 2 years. She'll come here.
Did your brother play basketball?
He did.
Okay.
He did. Didn't end up working out.
Okay.
He could have been a really good Division III player.
Yeah.
He could have had the opportunity to be a contributor on some, lower level Division I.
Absolutely.
But the love of Michigan just prevailed.
It takes over.
It prevailed, and he's having the best time of his life here.
Okay. Good.
He's a sophomore. My younger cousin's a freshman. He's having the best time too. My youngest cousin's gonna come here. Like, it's a family thing. So, my mom's a Michigan grad. And so, you talk about the outfits. It's not that she like bought those in the 3 years that I've been here. She's had all those outfits.
Yeah.
Like they've been worn to Michigan basketball games, Michigan football games over the last 22 years of my life.
Some classics in there.
It's just now that she's getting, maybe a little more spotlight with it, but she loves it. I'm so lucky to have my mom and my dad. They're the best support system in the world. My younger brother too. I have 2 younger brothers who are, the best. And they all pushed me to be doing what I'm doing, living my dream, playing basketball at Michigan. And I'm lucky to have them, appreciate it where they're living it through me.
Yeah.
So
100%. Yeah, I mean, you lived it through them for so long.
Oh
and
my
now
God.
it's like
I've heard all. My mom tells me the story. So she graduated in 1989, the year they won the national championship. And she always tells me about, going to Seattle for the Final Four that year and watching them win the national championship. And now I'm going to have the opportunity to do that.
She's going to be watching you
and,
do that. Wow.
She just like, she's loving it. Every minute of it. My dad, the same thing. He had a great college career. And, I always tell him I'm better than him. And he actually started admitting it.
Okay, there we go.
But yeah, I mean, he's living this dream through me too. Like he's seen it since the day I was born. Same with my brothers, cousins, aunts, uncles. Everyone that went to Michigan in my family is living this dream through me. So I'm so lucky and grateful for that support system.
Absolutely. Shout out to the parents and to the alumni and the little ones who support all of us youngins going through life at this level. Going back to the outfits, I want to talk to you about if you got the opportunity to design a new jersey, a new uniform for a game day for Michigan, what would that look like? Or would you rock maybe like an old school fit? We see in the NBA, they get so many different, like the Pistons are rocking the teal, they got the green. What would you do? I mean, we can never do the green. Never the green, never the red.
No. We're not doing green or red. That's not happening.
Never happening. But I mean, you have to have style from your mom. I just know you do. So talk to me about it.
Listen, my favorite jersey that we have is without a doubt our throwback maize jersey from the Glenn Rice years, that 1989 championship with the big block M and the smaller letters Michigan.
Michigan.
And I love that jersey. I wish they would do more colorways. Honestly, I know it's not a school color, so no one get mad at me. I wish we did a gray jersey.
Okay.
I feel like that would look really cool with some blue.
I like that a lot.
Might be a little too Penn State, but I could see it working. Maybe a little maize in there. I don't know. The one thing that I wish they did, though, is the old Wolverine logo.
Okay.
We don't have that on any jerseys.
No, you guys all got the shoot stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a school thing. I think it's some licensing thing or something.
Okay, got you, yeah.
But God, I wish we had a jersey with those. Or I'm babbling here. just something straight big block M, like how they had the Jamal Crawford years in the early 2000s. I'm a savant with it. Like I grew up the biggest Michigan fan, so like I remember the all maize Hochberg jerseys. Like, I could talk all day long about that stuff.
I absolutely love it. I actually like Diana, Namari Burnett's fiance on the team. She had gifted my little brother one of your guys' team issued shirts from Namari. My little brother literally lost his Maya. Shout out Diana and Namari. But it was like the navy green one with the camo on the sleeves.
Okay, yeah.
I think it would be so cool to do like a gray, like how you said, like a gray and white, but almost camo, and then do the blue and maize stitching.
Yeah,
I don't know, something like that.
So, no, something that I think they're hesitant with the green stuff, but the army green,
that was like in honor of like paying tribute.
Yeah, no, we always have a military appreciation day, and it's kind of cool because that's the only green stuff we get. And I remember my freshman year, Juwan Howard, Michigan man, during our first team meeting was like going over the team rules, and at the end of it he was like, listen, most importantly, no green, no red. I don't want to see you guys wear it anywhere. And someone was like, what about our military stuff? He's like, he was seriously, I think he was seriously considered like saying no. But he was like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. But it's like, I was like, all right, I already grew up with these rules, so it's great.
Yeah. I love that. And okay, so we've talked about the support system from family, and we actually got to talk a little bit about people like Namari Burnett and Diana, fiance.
Yeah.
Not to get personal, but what's going on in the love life of Harrison?
I have a girlfriend.
Okay, love that.
She is a Michigan grad. She graduated last year. She's now working a big time wealth management job in New York City.
I love that.
We're lucky because she works remotely.
Okay.
So it's more easier for her to come up here during the season. If I have a break, I'll go see her. I love going back to New York. But yeah, Namari and Diana are the standard though. We'll just leave it at that. Like it's funny. We have a lot of long-term relationships in my years. Like Namari, Diana, obviously, Vlad and Kim also engaged. Yep. Greta, Will are loving basketball.
Literally loving basketball. That's too funny.
I'm doing long distance, and it's going good.
Okay, good.
Will and Greta are doing it.
She's in a different country.
She's in Germany.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we have a lot of role models on the team as far as that, we'll say.
I absolutely love that. Is it helpful, like being in a relationship? Does it ground you?
100%.
And
yeah.
Your girlfriend, you said wealth management. Did she play a sport here or any athletic?
She didn't. She sorority girl, student. She was an econ major. Really smart.
Yeah, I love that.
Too smart for me. But yeah, no, not an athlete, but it's good to have that. I love my support system. She's another branch of my support system. It's great to ground me. Rough day of practice, whatever, just someone to talk to about nothing.
Yeah, that's so true. Literally just talking about nothing. I absolutely love that. I think literally Namari and Diana, like the molds, but honestly, so many guys on the team. I think, like you said, Dusty May gets great players, but even better people. Yeah. And it just shows in your guys' relationships and how you guys are with your fans and audience and families. And, so that's super awesome to see. Now, I do want to talk a little bit more about just kind of like what the audience doesn't get to see. I mean, relationships is one of those. You don't really get to see as much publication on the relationship side, whether it's a personal preference or just because, people don't always look too deeply into that, but sometimes they do, The girls like to look at the roster, but they see the 6'7", they're going, no. But yeah, like just talk to me about something the audience doesn't really get to see that goes into making you guys, you're on the road to national champions. What do the audience not really get to see within that?
I would say as far as basketball wise, it's on the court. It's how hard we work. We were here all summer, and Coach Matt, our strength coach, has set up these things that he calls strongmans, and it's no joke. It's a full on military style conditioning workout. And that stuff has hardened us and prepared us to be on the way to winning it all. Like that's what we want to do, and those were the goals we set. So, that foundation was laid out early. We're like, this is how hard you got to work in order to do that. And talent only gets you so far. Like, hard work could take you even further. So, Dusty and the entire staff really laid down how hard we need to work in order to accomplish our goals. The other thing is the academic side. I mean,
True.
we go to Michigan. Like, this is, I call it, Harvard is the Michigan of the East.
Yeah.
It's as prestigious of an academic school as it gets, and we also have pretty damn good sports.
Yeah.
So we need to go to class. We need to do our homework. We're missing classes when we're traveling on the road. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So, and that also comes, having great teammates, like helping each other out. Like, I'm an older guy now, and I used to do it. Freshmen will come up to me, hey, did you take this class? Did you take this class? I'm like, yeah, here's the notes. Like, let me know if you need help.
Yeah, that's love.
Getting each other through it.
Yeah.
College basketball it looks great on the outside, but it is tough.
Yeah, and honestly, like, kudos to, I feel like there's such I did like a show, it was called like just playing the misconception, and I feel like a big misconception, at least here at Michigan with athletics and the athletes, you guys are not dumb. You guys are very, very, I feel like, well educated in the education and the academics realm. Man, I could tell you a story. I walked into a class that I signed up for on accident, and I didn't realize about farming and agriculture. Like, complete wrong class. It was like a medicine something class, and I was sat down and I was next to Will Cheddar, and I was like, oh, okay, this can't be that hard.
I know. Will is smart.
Oh my God. She starts saying like, okay, yeah, this stuff that I don't know what she's saying. Like,
people think the dumb athlete is like a thing. It is not. Like, I hate when I'm like in, joining a group project. Like, I always feel like,
people
my
are like, oh,
group
don't
project
worry about
members are going to be like, try to give me these. I'm like, no, I want to do the work. Like, I want to learn this stuff. I want, I'm not just an athlete. Like, was student first, athlete second.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, Will's hand was up like every 5 seconds. I dropped out of the class the next day. I'm not gonna lie. It would, to my defense, it was not not in my major. I took like it through the wrong school. But I was like, wow, like, really kudos to the athletes. Like, these guys are very, very intelligent, and it shows in their grades. You have all like Big Ten academics guys all throughout the year, and then on top of that, just performing, literally going to be the number one. It's coming team in the nation. Yeah. So I love that.
Good karma. You do well in the classroom, you're going to do well on the floor too.
Absolutely.
You got to give 100% all around.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about that too. Like, what's your next step after these next few years? Do you still see yourself hopefully pursuing basketball full on, or is there a route that you want to take that's stepping outside of basketball?
Yeah, so I'm redshirting right now. So I have an extra year of eligibility. I want to go to grad school. I want to get another degree. After that, I haven't really figured out too much. I welcome the opportunity to play overseas. I'd certainly love to keep basketball around in my professional life. Sports agent, working in a team front office, or maybe the sports investment side, like all these investment firms that like a lot of them own 0.1% of the New York Knicks, and it's investment opportunities in sports. I would, I want to keep sports in my life. I don't know exactly what yet. Right now, I want to meet as many people as possible, make as many connections, network, and leverage being a Michigan basketball player as much as I can. We're lucky we have the world's greatest alumni base, alumni network, and I want to use it. I want to, meet as many people as possible that could, guide me in the right direction.
Absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit more about that goes along with after college and finding your identity with basketball or without a different sense of sports. Just identity in general. There's so many guys on the team from so many different walks of life.
Yeah.
You have Adai who, very like international student who, I remember the first game, it wasn't a Big Ten game, but it was just like, a low conference game, and he brought, oh my gosh, so many family members that came out with the flags. You have people like Yaxel Lindenberg, Dominican, and I actually want to talk about you and your identity with being a Jewish athlete, because you talk a lot about that through your social media and just things you want to address more on that.
There aren't many of us, which makes me unique.
I was gonna say the 6'7", like the height. I mean, going to Michigan, there's so much Jewish life here, and it's so beautiful. I came from an area I didn't really know too much about it, and I learned so much through my friends. And one of the things was they're just naturally shorter men. So when you said you're Jewish, I was like 6'7". I mean, I'm an Italian heritage girl, so you know the men on my side are all short too. So I mean,
so my genes are a little messed up too, because my dad's his mom's Italian, his dad's Jewish.
Okay, yeah, so that's you just really were an anomaly.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, like, but that's not supposed to help me because Italians are supposed to be short
That's
too.
what I'm saying.
So I don't know where way down in my gene line, way before I was born, someone messed up. But yeah, I mean, I'm lucky to be tall, and so Jewish athletes. I was lucky, to have a brother for life, and Danny Wolf, who is also another, proud Jewish athlete. And there's not many of us, and we were probably the only two Jewish basketball players in the Big Ten, and we played on the same team.
There you go.
I've tried to connect with the Jewish community as much as I can. Jewish athletes. All my friends grew up wanting to be sitting right where I'm sitting, playing where I'm playing. And, slowly, one by one, everyone gave up. And I credit going to boarding school and getting out of that environment. That isn't the reason for the height, obviously, but I was lucky. But yeah, give hope. I've had plenty of, 10-year-olds, kids who's like, yeah, I'm Jewish. I love basketball. I love football. I love baseball. How'd you do it? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just worked
don't listen until you know. So many people tried to tell you no, and like hearing your story is so empowering, especially to people who look like you, same religion, same cultural background, and hear that, people will tell you no. And it's what you do after.
Yeah, it's a big part of my identity. It's something I'm very proud of. And I've, welcomed every opportunity I've had to express that, my Jewish faith, to publicize it. And help out the next generation of Jewish athletes is something that I've, wanted to do in giving back, because growing up, I didn't have it, not that I can remember, there wasn't a Jewish Michigan basketball player that, I could, we didn't even have social media when I was growing up. Like, I couldn't DM them and be like, hey, how'd you do it? And,
absolutely. So different.
Like, my advice is, don't let anyone tell you no. Work as hard as you possibly can, and then work harder. It's, the work is never done. I always, I push myself hard, and a lot of times I didn't think I could do it. And what I would do is, I would say, God damn, I really, really wish that someone would hand me a piece of paper, say, if you do these 10, 20, 100 things every day, I don't care if it's 200 things, 1,000 things, and you'll play basketball at Michigan, I'd do it. I was doing blindly. Like, and if I needed to push, I'd literally just imagine Juwan Howard sitting, on the sideline, just watching me work out. And that would get me through a workout. So whatever motivation you need, like, you got to do it. I wanted to play for Michigan, and whatever I could do to make that dream reality, whether it's, waking up at 6 a.m. in summer and running on the beach, and, and then going back and lifting weights, then, shooting, then in the afternoon playing pickup, just anything I could do to make that dream a reality, I did. And, you got to, there's no excuse for work.
I think that's so cool. Getting ready to wrap up, I do want to talk a little bit more about the NIL side. Once again, you've been through so many different changes throughout the coaching staff, the players, but also the NIL and the influence that's had on recruiting and just everyday lives as athletes. How have you seen NIL progress in a positive, negative way and benefit you? I think people think you have to be the Bryce Underwood or the Yaxel Lindenberg to get the highest recruiting, NIL, this, that, the other, but it truly is just your name, image, and likeliness. And you're doing so much with your NIL as a identity, as a brand, as your social media, like the Adrian Nunez's of the world. I love Adrian. We were great friends.
He was at the facility yesterday. Adrian.
No way. He's here? Okay, yeah. See, like, guys still coming back. Like, they love it. Adrian didn't really get off the bench too much, but I mean, he's one of the biggest names. Like, in the
He's in the NBA celebrity game right now.
Literally. You know what I'm saying? So what is it really like changed in a positive, negative light?
Yeah, I've tried to leverage the Jewish network as much as I can. I've, been blessed to work with two Jewish NIL collectives, one being the Blue Square Alliance, the other being Tribe NIL. And they both opened the door for so many possibilities to spread awareness, of Jewish culture, and also just networking with people, which to me is the most important thing. Selfishly, I want to meet as many people as possible that could help me. And I've seen the landscape. I came in, NIL was a thing, but it wasn't as big as it is now. People have really figured out how to leverage it. And seeing, God bless Dusty. He is a workhorse, and making sure that guys get paid what they should be paid. And
really cares about the team.
He wants us to succeed on and off the court, more importantly off the court and in the world of life. So we have guys getting NIL money, but you can't just hand someone a big check. You got to tell them, here's financial literacy, here's the smart way to manage it. And God bless Dusty. He's opened the doors to meet people in wealth management that have given us opportunities to invest, to save, just learning about that stuff. It's something that isn't talked about enough.
No.
So I think that's as important as anything when it comes to NIL money. But yeah, I've seen, Champion Circle. I feel like I've pretty much watched it grow to what it is now, and giving us all the opportunities that we have. Shout out Dylan Deitch. He's the best. It really is a new world of college sports.
Absolutely.
And I feel like Michigan has handled it in the best way possible.
Yeah, I think it's such a blessing to have coaches like that too. Like even older alumni, like Lamar Woodley comes in and talks for the football boys. I've been present and, lets them know like taxes are a real thing. You're going to get taxed on this. You need to save your money for this. You can't just be handing out money in cool cars and chains all the time like this. And people like Dusty May too, who it matters what you do with it off the court. Dusty May, man, this guy, I mean, we have to talk about the MSU game. He was just, so calm, cool, and collected, and literally created one of the most iconic photos I've seen in my entire life.
Ever.
Can you talk to me about that moment and that time? Just talk to me. That's all I have to know.
Cue the photo real quick. I don't know how... I haven't been in his office in the last 3 days. If it's not in his office, Coach, I'm disappointed in you. That is the greatest photo of it's like people are gonna be posting that photo for years to come. So yeah, I was I'm redshirting this year, which I mentioned. So I went out on the court with one of my other teammates, Winters Grady, who's also redshirting this year. And so usually fans aren't allowed in until 60 minutes before the game. There were 90 minutes on the clock, and they let everyone in because it was so cold outside. They didn't want everyone waiting outside. And we walk in, the Breslin Center. There's already damn near 10,000 people in there. And they start yelling, boo, boo, boo. And, we sit down and the boos slowly start quieting down. And we're just, kind of just talking, chopping it up, just sitting, in the Breslin Center, one of the most legendary venues in college basketball. And all of a sudden, the boos were 10 times loud. I thought it was already loud, 10 times louder than it already was. And I was like, I looked at Winters like, did I do something? I didn't know what happened. And then I look in the tunnel and Dusty's just standing in the tunnel, just looking around. And I'm like, yo, what is he doing? And then he goes and he sits down right in front of the student section. And he just looks so chill and
smiling at him.
And I look at Winters, I was like, yo, he's like aura farming right now.
Dusty May's aura farming, guys.
And it is gonna go down as one of the most legendary photos, videos in the history of this rivalry.
Yeah, literally.
And gonna be talked about for years to come. And Dusty said same thing. He didn't expect all those people to be there that early.
Yeah, no.
And he ducked his head out. They saw him, and he was like, "I'm not running from the smoke." He was like, "I'm gonna embrace it." And that's the kind of guy he is. That's the kind of leader he is. And God bless him. I mean, he is one hell of a dude.
I love it. Is he as calm, cool, and collected in practice and in everyday life as he was in that picture? Be honest.
He gets heated sometimes.
Okay.
If you're not running a play right, if you mess up a defensive assignment, he will get on your ass.
Love that.
But it's all with purpose.
Yeah.
You got to remember, he was a student manager under Bobby Knight, the most notorious screaming coach ever.
Yeah.
So that's where his foundation is. And, I've heard stories about Coach Knight. I heard he could have gone a little over the top sometimes.
Fair enough.
Dusty always has a purpose with what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he is a savant. You know, he always says, I don't have hobbies. I just watch basketball. Like I remember asking, you know, my first conversation.
Quote, literally,
the
just
Super
now.
Bowl quote the other day.
Oh yeah, we turned on the game. You know, film is our Super Bowl. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's literally so cool.
He was living in Boca Raton, Florida. So I remember like my first meeting with him, I asked him, I was like, yo, are you a big golfer? Like I play golf. I was trying to find some middle ground with him. He's like, golf? No. And I was like, do you fish? He's like, no. I'm like, well, you know, coach, like you lived in Boca, like it's a beautiful place. What do you do? He was like, sit on the couch, watch basketball all day. Like he will watch middle school, high school, college, NBA, overseas.
That's so
any
cool.
amount of basketball. You know, there's no amount of basketball he could.
His basketball IQ has.
He is so smart. He like he'll walk in practice and we'll be going over the offense. He's like, yeah, I was watching a game in Lebanon the other day, and you know they were running this concept. Like let's just try it. And I'm like, wow, you are something else. I thought I loved basketball until I met him.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Well, I absolutely love getting to talk to you. I think a question just going out is, with this road to national championship team, what's one word you would use to describe the identity of this team that you're on this year, who's literally making so much commotion in the Big Ten and in the nation?
I'm going to say special. I don't think, you know, we have special individual bonds off the court, special group bonds. You know, we were lucky, went up to Matt Lester's farm before the season and did a lot of team bonding. And that was a special, you know, thing. But we just have such a special group of guys who just love each other, and we're pretty damn talented. And I think the more special part, which I talked about, is that we, you know, we love playing together and we love sharing the ball. We love, you know, playing defense.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to find a group of guys that are this talented, that are this dedicated to each other and to the process that coach puts in front of us. You know, and this close, like we have the team that's going to get it done. I've watched a lot of Michigan basketball in my life. I've, you know, heard stories about Fab Five, 1989 years, Cassie Russell years. Like I could talk all day long about how great those guys were, but you know, there is not a group that is this talented and this loyal to each other.
I love that, from staff to coach to player to bench to on court, like doesn't matter. Like, genuinely, I see it too. Like being someone who's gone to, you know, have such a desire to work in the sports world, getting to watch as a fan, getting to be on the sidelines, taking notes just the same. Seeing this basketball team, like you guys are definitely, like, special is the word.
I love being a part of this team. There isn't a single thing I'd rather do with my life right now. This is my wildest dream, and I'm so happy and grateful every single day to live it.
Oh, I'm so happy for you, and your story is just so amazing. Truly a Michigan man, Harrison Hochberg. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for
Thank you guys for watching. This is literally, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not being biased. This is my favorite interview I've done. I've learned so much, and I hope you guys have too. So,
thank you. Go Blue.
You're watching A2. This is Chant Media. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Go Blue.